Florida, Maryland out in the Chase Center is the opening game, and you get Texas Tech. How about this? Texas Tech and Arkansas is the nightcap. The opening game, the opening matchup is Maryland and Florida, who might be the best team in college basketball and the team that just hit the first buzzer beater in the tournament. Um, I I think that Florida rolls over Maryland. I think this is a really difficult matchup for the Terps because what Maryland does is uh, kind of play similar to Florida stylistically. They got three guards and two bigs, right? And that's what Florida does. And I just think Florida's got better basketball players. So I'll be taking the Gators in that one. And I mentioned it earlier. I think Texas Tech wins wins relatively comfortably against Arkansas. Great run for Cal. Cinderella wears Armani, but I don't know, man. I think this is where the ride comes to an end. I think that what Texas Tech can do offensively is going to give Arkansas some fits in the half court. So I'll take Tech and Florida there, and Florida wins. I have Florida making it to the Final Four. Fanta.
Well, my original bracket, I had Florida. So I'm gonna stick with them, and I'll tell you why. Even though I think that Texas Tech can give Florida problems on both ends of the floor, particularly Florida offensively, with the way that Texas Tech can guard them and with the way that they swarm the ball. And then Rob, right now they have two matchup nightmares. It's not just JT Toppin, it's Darion Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And Grant McCaslin has gotten a roster that's filled with versatility. And the way that Texas Tech defends, better than UConn. Better than UConn. There's more size, there's more athleticism there.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't Texas Tech do it? I got to be honest. I'm afraid of my Florida pick right now because I was not impressed with them on Sunday, and I thought that Golden got lapped in circles by Dan Hurley. Just being honest, I thought he coached. I thought Hurley. It's one of his best coaching performances of his career.
I agree with that. I actually agree with that.
His team was outmatched. Didn't have a talent level. How they took away Florida's front line for the majority of the game is beyond me. But that's a bit concerning. So, like, I'm going to stay committed to my Florida pick, but like, if I will not be one bit surprised if Texas Tech comes out of this region. And honestly, if you put me up against the wall and said you have to make a pick right here, right now for this week, I'm going to change it up and go with Texas Tech because I think they're playing extremely well-rounded basketball. I think they have two absolute studs, but it goes beyond that. And I think that right now, if it's not Clayton or Elijah Martin, like Will Richards got to knock down some shots. But Rob, if I'm Florida and I'm in the film room, I got to be looking at how Alex Condon and Thomas Houck and Chinyelu only had about 7 or 8 shot attempts in the whole game against Connecticut, a weaker Connecticut frontcourt team. UConn fronted the post, but you got to get more than that. Florida will beat Maryland. Florida is better than Maryland and deeper than Maryland, and I think they will get it done. And there's no reason why they can't beat Texas Tech. I do think Texas Tech gets past Arkansas, and so I will match you. But I am deeply concerned about my Florida pick right now. If they play like they did
You
on
want to know
Sunday,
why? You,
Texas Tech's going to get this done.
you know what was the most concerning part to me is that they looked nervous. Like
That's it.
there was a stretch in the second half when UConn kind of took control of that game where they missed, I think it was 9 out of 15 free throws that they missed. And you cut to Todd Golden on the sideline, and like he looked worried,
You know
right?
what?
Like he
Frick it.
looked,
I'm changing my pick.
yeah, he looked a
I'm
little bit
taking
like a deer
Texas
in
Tech.
headlights. Here's my question for you with that, Fanta, because I've gone back and forth with this. We talked about it last night on After Dark. I've texted a couple of different coaches about it. On the one hand, if you're nervous in a game like that, there's a chance that you could be nervous in other games, and maybe if you get down, it'll get a little worried. You'll get worried again. But the other part of it is, it feels like every national champion has a game like this, where I don't want to say they got lucky, but I would argue that UConn was the better team, and then a couple missed box out on free throws, a couple missed open threes in the second half. The turnover where Will Richard was able to strip solo and it bounced off of his leg and went out of bounds when they were up by 3 with a chance to push it to 5 or 6 with 4 minutes left. So there were a couple of small effort plays like that that went Florida's way and that got them the win. So I don't know. I kind of feel like that might be they got that out of their system, right? Like now they've gone through it, they've been down, and they know that they can struggle and not play well and still win in this tournament against the two-time defending national champions. So I feel like they might have just gotten some of the jitters out with that win.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, like if this Texas Tech team gets cooking with that duo, the way that Toppin's playing, Toppin's an All-American.
Hmm.
He is that level of player. So like it's not like you have an All-American and they don't because
Hmm.
he's that good. And Williams had 28. Oh, by the way, we're not even talking about Kerwin Walton, who, didn't score against Drake but applied great defense, but went nuclear against UNCW with 27 points.
Yep.
Texas Tech is playing loose. And has there been a better hire than Grant McCaslin at a program here with
Oh,
what he's
he's
with
been
the imprint that
fantastic,
he's
man.
made? They wreak havoc defensively. And right now, if Florida's, you know what my takeaway too was that Dan Hurley showed? If you keep Florida in the half court, that Florida team, if they get transition, say goodnight.
Yep. Yep. I agree.